Welcome to Screams from the Center. In this broadcast, I hope to provide you with information on topics I find interesting and give my take on them. My name is David, and welcome to my channel. Recently, I was looking through Facebook, and I'm subscribed to the GOP page. I like it. What can I say? And they had a nice little placard up. I don't know if people will be able to see it, but it says, Republican Party celebrates Black History Month, the History Makers. Now, I'm going to note that there is a white guy in Black History Month picture. So, there's that to start with. But it says, this Black History Month, we pay tribute to those who have paved the way by declaring and dedicating ourselves to advancing the issues that matter the most, from increasing economic opportunity to expanding educational options. Okay, that's not a horrible message. It's a little disingenuous, but it's not a horrible message. Now, why am I talking about this? Does the GOP like it when people who are colorfully racist, borderline racist, post on their page? I have yet to see any representative of the actual Republican Party make a comment on any posts that they put up. Now I'm going to go down and read in my news and my feed the first few comments based on this posting that they put up. February is Black History Month. Welcome to it. And I want you to get a picture of what's going on here. Now, I'm not saying that this is the entire GOP party. I know it's not. But can we reasonably be assured that the people who are making these comments vote GOP? They tend to support the GOP. We see that. So, without any further ado, why can't we just have a history month? Not black, white, Asian, Latino, no prefixes, just a history month. And make sure all history is taught. Real, unadulterated history. Hey, that's a great idea. Well, but as a American who went through the American education system, and even being a bit of a history buff, I can tell you for certain that history class focused more on people who were white. Whether you can make the argument that it was white people that have more of an impact than minorities, that's fine. You try to make that argument. You can do that. We can debate that. But that's how it was taught. And, well, if you're in school, every month you're in a history class is History Month, okay? So, the idea behind these history months is not so much to say that black people contributed more than white people or white people. It's not a contest. It's to outline people of a certain group who have contributed to history. It's not really any different than celebrating George Washington or Abraham Lincoln's birthday, or celebrating Memorial Day. Memorial Day marked the end of the war in Europe. So, that's what it was. We don't sit there and question whether or not we celebrate every war. So, why are we making a big deal out of this? This is just to highlight people of certain groups and their contributions to history. Anyway, going on. If there was a White History Month, the shit would hit the fan. Month? Oh dear. There is a White History Month. It's called January through December. Again, history in books and in classrooms focus on white people. Whether or not that is systemic, whether or not there's a actual reason behind it, like white people are better, I don't know. But the fact of the matter is that history the way it is taught, pretty much does emphasize white people right out of the gate and every month of the year. So moving on, what about White History Month? What about Latino history or Native American history or white history? No offense, but black makes histories every day in our newspaper. I wonder what that means. Emphasis on the word thug, perhaps? Okay, it may be out of line, but I could read the comments listed from the Ferguson issues, from the New York strangulation. I'm not far off. Is it still legal to be white in America? Well, what was that? Nope, still don't hear the FBI knocking down my door to arrest me because I'm white. No FEMA camps yet. No FEMA camps. Forget all this separation crap. Let's unite America by making American Month. Again, you're missing the entire point. The point is not celebrating Americans. The point is celebrating blacks in history who have contributed to history. Do you get it? And not all the black people in Black History Month that are recognized are Americans. This is not a country thing. This is a world thing. Why don't we have White History Month? Can you see a theme forming? When is Asian History Month or Native American History Month? November and May. Just to let you know, Sean. When is White History Month? All capital letters. Will they teach children that the first slave owner in the U.S. was a black man? History needs to be taught. American history needs to be taught every month. Now, I actually went out my way and had to reply to this because it was very funny. I'm like, it's awesome how you point out exceptions to the rule. The first slave owner in the U.S. was not black. Only 8% of blacks were freemen in the South after the Revolutionary War. And lastly, this is an argument based on an idea that if someone did something bad, we all can because they did it. Wrong is wrong. It doesn't matter if a black person or a white person does something wrong. And the statement he makes is the kind of statement racists use to justify their behavior. So, of course, he had to point out an article from a conservative website that talks about the first black man, or the first slave owner was a black man. Now, I already find a problem in citing a conservative source as proof because I don't care if you're conservative or not. To be honest, conservatives have had a greater history of exaggerating the truth to make their points than other people. But again, who cares? Even if it's true. Does that make slavery right? Does that make whites owning slaves right? I mean, if that's your justification for what we did and for ignoring history, that's a pretty poor excuse. So moving on, not black history, not white history, or any other color's history. How about some plain and truthful American history? That would be great, except for people like David Barton, who are teaching a revisionist history that Jesus Christ came down to earth and signed right below John Hancock the Declaration of Independence and the Constitution and helped forge it, and that the Bible was the backbone of the Constitution. When you have people like that, and then you're professing that you don't want black history or any other color history, you just want history. Well, okay, black history events are history. It's not like it's not like this black person in Black History Month didn't actually do or say the things that are talked about. It is still history. The only difference between generic history and Black History Month is we take this month to emphasize a group of people who have contributed to history, not making up history and then we go back to teaching real history. So the whole premise of this argument is flawed. How about Indian History Month? Well, I said what that was. Or Scott History Month. Scott History Month? I'm assuming he means Scottish history. Yeah. You learned about Alexander Graham Bell. You learned about James Watt, presumably in school and in history. So we do Scottish History Month. Here's another genius one. Increasing economic... Now, I'm reading these in order. I am not skipping any comments. Increasing economic opportunities will decrease welfare benefits so that people have to go to work to survive. Yes. So basically, this guy is saying if we starve people, they'll go to work. Again, I refer back to my episode, The War on Poverty, to point out that this is basically poor shaming, and it's also kind of eluding that black people are poor and lazy, and if we just cut off their government money, stop them from stealing our money, that they'll go to work and be productive, and magic will happen, and the whole world will be fine again. Why is every month Black History Month? Let's have a White History Month. Well, first off, not every month is Black History Month. Every month, I do believe, is some sort of heritage or history month. And the whole year, again, is taught white history. We can argue with a point, but it kind of is what it is. But every month? I mean, do you guys really think this? I will when we have White History Month, a white congressional caucus, a white college fund, a white entertainment channel, etc., etc., etc. Okay. How many black people had their own TV shows in the 50s and 60s, in the 70s, the 80s, and 90s? Are there more exceptions or rules? Now, I will make the argument that I think some minority groups are overemphasized in our television and movies because the creators are making a social comment. Let's take Glee, for instance. Glee has more gay people on the show as characters than that town would theoretically support. I mean, if you looked at the way the statistics work population-wise. But, again, White History Month, a white congressional caucus. Well, isn't that the GOP? A white college fund. Isn't that many scholarships? A white entertainment channel. Isn't that most networks? I mean, the fact that you aren't calling it white entertainment channel or a white college fund, it's irrelevant. If it does promote or enrich that demographic, well, then it is. They could call it the Butterflies and Pink Ribbons channel, and if it's all white people talking about things that affect whites, it's a white entertainment channel, period. How about we celebrate Obama is History Month? Now that would be worth celebrating. Oh, Obama's gone. Oh, yes, okay, fine. When is White History Month? When is White History Month? No, I'm not repeating myself. That was literally the comment that was within minutes of the previous comment. When is Native American History Month? November. The other day, my son had to march in Black History Month parade for his school. I told him to ask the principal what he has to do with him. I'm going to assume he meant what it has to do with him. You're a human being? You're acknowledging other human beings that often aren't? When is White History Month? Why don't we have a White History Month? It's time to stop all this black this and that. Let's just live our lives in harmony like it was before Obama was elected. Yes, let's go back to the 50s even, where black people went in separate doors. They had their own lunch counters. They had their own place on the bus, their own schools. It was perfect time, wasn't it? When is White History Month? Oh, come on, blacks are so coddled under this administration. Let's just have American History Month. Again, missing the point that it's not blacks in America, it's blacks, period. And this is pretending that Obama and his administration created Black History Month. I don't think that's the case. Let's find out. So, this is the thing. They keep pounding these facts and pounding these theories like there's some sort of point that they're trying to make. Like there's something to this. We need a White History Month. This is a shame. Oh, yes, it's a shame to talk about history the same way we've been talking about history since we've started public education. Isn't this American history? No, it's not American history. It's black history. It's contributions in history performed by the minority group that we call blacks. It's plain and simple. These are the voters who vote for GOP candidates. I didn't edit these statements. I commented on them. But these are the statements that I am looking at on my Facebook feed right now. That's not all the comments. That's just the ones in this grouping. But I've got a feeling that they're not going to change all that much. Is there going to be a sudden shift where people start saying, well, no, Black History Month isn't about American history. Black History Month isn't about, forcing a revisionist history. It's the actual truth. I don't think that there are very many people who are championing this in these threads. I don't see it. So anyway, that's my rant on Black History Month and the GOP. I know I've been kind of heavy-handed towards Republicans, conservatives, and the GOP lately. I do have plenty of rants against liberals, but to be honest, things in the news that are happening are things that I find idiotic about conservatives, libertarians, and their movements. So don't worry, liberals. We're going to talk about GMOs and vaccines soon enough. And there's other things. We're going to talk about oil drilling and oil production. So don't worry. There will be episodes centering around liberals and the stupid things that they like to say and do. Anyway, thank you for joining me. Please subscribe and pass on, like my videos, and more to come. Thank you.